Well, hey there everybody. Today I have a treat for you. Upon popular request, we have the Gerber Edict here in the Blade Boot Camp. You guys have been asking for it. A premium steel, 154 cm, made in the USA from Gerber, legendary knife company. So today we're gonna really thrash on this thing. I've been able to EDC it, put it through a lot of not only utility tasks that you do when you're EDCing a blade like this, but also some tactical stabbing tasks to see how it stabs and how it pries and how it's gonna hold up to harder abuse as well for maybe those of you in law enforcement or the military. So we're gonna get a lot of hard use today on this Gerber Edict. It's seen some good abuse, holding up real well, particularly that black coating. They've done a great job with that black coating. So again, this is in the philosophy of being that large either utility slash self-defense blade. I'm not a knife fighter. I don't recommend using a knife to defend yourself. But if you are looking for that type of blade and you're practiced and you know what you're doing, either for tactical use or you just like big Tanto design knives and you like USA made with 154 cm, that's what Gerber's produce. Now today we're gonna see whether or not it's gonna be a good purchase for you. So let's get to this review on the Edict from Gerber. All right guys, give you a couple basic specs here on the Edict. Now the Edict is a US made knife, which is awesome. It's always good to see US made products. You're looking at overall length from tip to the back end of 8.5 inches. You're looking at a blade length from the handle to the tip of 3.6 with an actual cutting edge of 3.25, and it is 0.1 inches thick. So nice, good, not too thick, not too thin there on the blade, which is always important. That it's strong but not ridiculous, and then it doesn't slice very well. You're looking at a handle length itself, just the handle, 4.75 inches, and it is 0.56 inches thick, so half an inch thick at its widest point, and it weighs in at 3.75 ounces with 154 cm steel, which is a great steel. I really like that steel a lot. So those are just a few of the basic specs for you guys, and with that being said, let's continue on looking at this Edict and seeing how it's performing and whether or not it's going to be a good, more tactical blade, style blade for those of you out there looking for a knife US made with 154 cm Tanto design. All right guys, let's give you the ergonomic rating, kind of walk through the handle here on the Edict. Now it's got glass reinforced nylon handles, and then it's got kind of a rubberized Kraton overmold, very similar to a lot of their Gator folders that they have, and I like that a lot. So it's going to really feel comfortable in your hand, give you lots of traction, lots of grippiness, and I love that it's glass reinforced nylon without any steel liners in there because it cuts down on weight. This thing is under 4 ounces, and for a knife of this size to weigh less than 4 ounces is awesome. I'm really excited about that, and anytime a knife it weighs under 4 ounces, that's a folder, I'm excited. And then with this size range of giving you that really nice reach at just over 3.5 inches, I mean, that's very impressive. So I like that a lot. Some people may be like, oh, well, I want steel liners in there. I've never heard of or seen somebody, I'm sure it's happened, but with all of the abuse of hundreds of knives that I've reviewed here on the channel, never have I done something that would question the strength and rigidity of a knife that didn't have steel liners in there. And I would rather cut down on weight so I don't feel it than to have this huge bulky thing slinging around in my pocket all day. So I prefer lightweight, no steel liner handles over big, heavy, bulky, thick steel liner handles. That's just my preference. Your preference may vary, but very strong, capable handle, I think. I wear large size gloves. You can see there, huge amount of room to spare there on that back end with that nice lanyard hole right there. You can get a nice good lanyard in there, but you can see there's plenty of room to spare. Again, that great traction is going to be real good. You got that nice deep finger groove with some jimping in there. You got some rubberized jimping on top. You got that little hump kind of causing a little bit of a guard, and again, that deep finger groove really accenting and helping the idea of this knife, which is, a large tactical folder basically is what this is. This isn't really designed as an EDC knife, though I know a lot of you would EDC this blade. I probably wouldn't. It's definitely designed to be that tactical folder. And I think for what it is and how it's designed for that, I think it's really set up well to give you great traction, very comfortable, no hot spots, feels very ergonomic in the hand. 5 out of 5, guys, for the ergonomic rating on this Edict. Very impressed, and I like it a lot, and really is set up well not only for the tactical stabbing, but you can do, you know, some other carving and whittling if you need to. But very comfortable, very well set up handle, great ergonomics, 5 out of 5. All right, guys, when we talk value, this thing is ridiculous. This thing is a 5 out of 5 on the value scale because we're talking about a $45 price point on Amazon and eBay. That's what I paid for this thing, and that is ridiculous. I mean, no other word can describe that. For 154 cm steel, we're talking USA made, under 4 ounces, great ergonomic handle for the size. I mean, what's there to complain about? When we're talking about 154 cm steel made in the US, we're easily, when we're looking at other blades that are made in the US with that steel, Spyderco, Benchmade. I'm losing it. Kershaw doesn't make anything with that type of steel yet, but you know, those blades, they're easily going to be $80 to $100 for that price point, and for this type of steel and material that you would be getting with this knife. So when we're talking about value on the Edict, it is so solid at a 5 out of 5. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing how they can do it for that price point. All right, guys, so the performance of the blade itself for a large Tanto design knife is great. That 154 cm has held up great under all of the different stabbing tasks that we've done, hard use tasks with this knife. It's going to be able to be strong enough to get that really good penetration, but still reinforced enough, you know, so it's not going to snap, break on you, and got that kind of rounded. Part of that was my doing with the sharpening of the blade. Yeah, and then that saber grind or that flat grind is great for the harder use tasks. This isn't like a mind-blowing slicer because of the kind of thicker blade, and with that saber grind doesn't make it, you know, like mind-blowing. My Delica 4, even my, what's it called, like my Manix 2, which is very similar in size, is going to slice cardboard and man-made materials a little bit better. But this will cut about the same because of the blade thickness and the grind as, say, like a Benchmade Griptilian full size. Very similar from what I saw. A Tanto design Griptilian will probably cut very similar because my drop point cuts very similar to this blade. So guys, with everything that we have put this knife up against, both for wood, nylon, cardboard, you know, stabbing, penetrating, I mean, this is definitely one tough blade that is designed well for those more utility tasks. This is not a finer, you know, EDC blade, I would say. This is more of a utility tactical blade for sure with its performance on the knife. All right, guys, let's go ahead and look at the locking mechanism as well as the deployment on the Edict. Now, the first thing is the thumb studs. The thumb studs are really nice, well-pronounced, ambidextrous on either side, which is really good. They're a little sharp. You might actually want to take a little bit of sandpaper or a little Dremel tool, just kind of round them ever so slightly. They're great for gloves, but with your bare hands, they tend to kind of bite into your thumb, and it's not necessarily the most comfortable thumb stud to deploy, though it is very, you know, stout and, you know, out there. Now, the thing to note is that the one that I got, when it came to me, it was almost impossible for me to open the blade without really flicking my wrist real hard. Now after about a day or two of really working it, I put some Hops gun lube in there and just have been really having to work on this thing. It's starting to loosen up for me, so if yours is super stiff out of the box, you're not the only one, and you're just gonna have to really work with it and, you know, mess around with it, because even there you can see it didn't quite deploy like I wanted to. You really got to flick that thing to get it to open. So I'm not actually very stoked about the deployment. It's very awkward because there's this dual kicking mechanism that kind of, for the locking, it goes out to right here and you can hear that kind of click and it catches right there, and there's like a little seating motion, then you got to push it again. So you really got to fight to get through that first click, then it will start to swing, then you can disengage, hit your finger and close it. So that's nice as well that they do give you this little blank spot so that all you have to do is disengage the lock back, kick, you're not going to accidentally bite into your finger. So it is able to be closed one-handed. But yeah, you just really got to flick that wrist to get that blade going. I would have liked to see a little bit smoother deployment. With that, the locking mechanism, lock back design. Now this isn't going to be as strong as, say, like a triad locking mechanism from Cold Steel, but it's very run-of-the-mill, I guess, you know, like any buck lockback design, other Gerbers that are out there. Very solid. There is zero blade play left and right and nothing up and down. So I mean, it's very solid lockup in there. Goes, you know, halfway back. Again, very easy for you to disengage it. You're not having to push super hard, and then again, you can just kick it down and close the blade. So not bad, except for the deployment is really sticky and you're just really gonna have to work with it. I'm sure over a period of time it'll start to kind of loosen up and be a little easier, but out of the box and with multiple days of use of me literally just opening and closing, and putting the hops gun lube on there, it's still pretty sticky. Better than it was, but just something to note there. It's not the smoothest deployer on the market, to be sure. Well guys, the more I use it, the faster I'm able to open, close, and redeploy the blade. So with a lot of work and probably a month's worth of elbow grease of working this thing in, it will get to the point where it is a very fast deployer and closer if you need it to. All right guys, how about quality on this blade? Now, the materials are very premium. 154 cm, they've done a great job with the fit and finish. You know, the overall design of the blade, all those things, and US made is great. Now, two things to note. My particular model came as dull as a butter knife out of the box. It was not, I couldn't even cut paper. It took me about 25 minutes with my DMT diamond-coated coarse stone, reprofiling the edge, and then about 10 minutes on my Spyderco Sharp Maker to really get it to the sharpness that you're seeing in this video. Now, I don't know if that was, you know, kind of a fluke, you know, but it had a pretty wide grind angle on it. So that's something to note, and you're gonna really have to work this deployment. The more I use it, the better it's getting, but I mean, I've had it for several weeks now, EDCing it every day, you know, really working it, constantly trying to, you know, open and close it, putting the hops gun oil in there, and I still really have to flick my wrist. Other than that, the 154 cm steel is a great steel, holding a great, phenomenal edge. I'm really glad they went with that and not 420 high carbon. This 154 cm is way better, and for the price point, I mean, you're getting really some premium stuff, guys. So I'm having a really hard time getting this, the quality rating. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. That's gonna be my rating for quality. All the materials are there. There's just a couple little sticking points with having to reprofile the edge. I would have liked to see this shaving sharp out of the box. It was not. And to see that deployment a lot faster, a lot smoother without, you know, weeks literally of work to try and get it smoother to where it'll deploy on a regular basis. So if you're willing to put a little work into this blade, not at all bad on the quality level. Out of the box, it's, you know, 3.5 out of 5. All right, guys, let's go ahead and look at the pocket clip and give you the carry option rating here for this knife. Now, I love that it's tip up. Thank you, Gerber. Please do more tip up folders. I don't like tip down, or at least give the option for tip up carry. So this one gives you the option only for tip up carry, which is great. I love that a lot. Good, strong pocket clip there. It says Gerber etched in on it. They've really thought this through, seen some what other companies have done, and really, I think, done it well. You get a little bit of a flare there. It does have a little bit of give, you know, so if you are wearing more, you know, thick 511 tactical pants, or, you know, or some type of pants like that kind of have those thick reinforced pocket liners, you know, so they don't tear up with folders, it will have some give, which is good. Now, you know, you could bend that if you caught it on something, so something to consider. But they have, you know, the rubber overmold that we talked about, and then they give you the glass reinforced nylon little box right underneath where the pocket clip would rest, so it's not going to grab your pocket, and it will be able to be deployed rather quickly. So that's all a plus. The weird thing is that they didn't give it for lefties. It's only righties, tip up only. And there's no reason for that, because there's just as much room on this side. They could have easily drilled 2 more holes, so you could just swap the pocket clip. And the thumb studs are set up for ambidextrous deployment as well. So I'm sorry, lefties, they kind of left you out there. Hopefully, maybe in the future, Gerber will even, maybe with some more production runs of this, just change that up. Just add 2 little holes right there so that those who are lefties could easily swap the pocket clip, because it's set up perfectly for that. Just add another little box right here, glass reinforced nylon box right in the middle, so this could be a totally ambidextrous blade. Now, it's not, but that's kind of a no-brainer to me. I don't know why Gerber didn't do that. So with that being said, let me show it to you in my pocket, show you kind of how it rides and how it deploys, and then I'll tell you my rating on it. All right, guys, wanted to show it to you here in the pants and in my pocket. And I like, again, that it's a blacked out pocket clip. You can see there the flare isn't too bad. It could probably catch on some stuff. It is possible to scratch your car, you know, things like that. So just kind of be aware of that. But, you know, it's not ridiculous. I've seen way worse pocket flares. But rides rather well. You're getting probably about 3/4 of an inch sticking up out of your pocket. There's a lanyard hole, you know, so it's nice and rounded, though. You're not going to, you know, be jagging yourself and bumping yourself. You know, it's nice and smooth and rounded. And it's very easy for you to grab it right here at the top end, deploy it, flick it out, kick it but closed, put it back into place. So not a bad carry at all. I just would have liked to see the ambidextrous option for you lefties out there. Hey, I'm looking out for you guys. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 on the carry option rating here for the Edict. And really my only complaint is that they didn't give a very simple option to be able to swap the pocket clip for lefties. Well guys, I gotta wrap this video up for you and tell you my overall likability on this Edict. Now I gotta tell you, when I first got this, seeing how dull it was and how it was literally almost impossible for me to open it without two hands because of how tight and just how, I don't know, it wasn't gunked up, but I don't know how to describe it. It just was not a smooth opening blade. Those two things, I was like, man, this thing sucks. We're gonna have to give this a really low likability rating. But after having reprofiled it, the edge retention is insane with that 154 cm. It's gonna be great for you. The blade design as well as the ergonomics, more for that utility slash, you know, again, self-defense if that's what you're looking for with that Tanto shape. This is a really good, lightweight, larger folder if you're looking for those two things. Now I would not rock this as my EDC knife. It's just too big. The blade is a little too thick for that, for my everyday carry stuff. But if I like Tantos and I'm looking for a wilderness knife, I think it could definitely do some of those aspects. You know, if you're looking for more like a hiking knife, again, law enforcement, military, definitely would definitely be, I think, a good blade for you. Or you're just like those bigger folders and you want a Tanto knife that's made in the US with 154 cm steel for under 50 bucks. All those things put together, you gotta like this thing. So I'm gonna give it a very solid 4 out of 5 on my likability scale, guys. If you are interested in it and you've been kind of considering it, know that if you're willing to put a little work into it again, really working that joint, opening and closing it for a long period of time, putting some lube in there, and probably gonna have to reprofile this edge to get it sharp like what you've seen in this video. If you're willing to do those two things and you like what you see in front of you, I think you'd be very pleased with the Gerber Edict, and it would definitely be a good purchase for you. So guys, I hope that this review has helped you out with your purchasing decisions. As always, check us out on all the relevant social media. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. And as always, remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.